Welcome to the WrestleFriends Podcast. I'm Dave and I'm here with Jake.
Hello.
And Mark.
Hi.
And Mark, you've got the maps. Do you want to explain to everyone what's coming on today?
A map.
I'm the map.
Well, we'll just introduction is first.
Hi.
Dave's just done
I've
the
already
introduction.
done that.
He's introduced us. Then like what's up? Just like general. What we've been doing recently.
What up?
Then Dave's going to tell us his very interesting WrestleThoughts. Then we're going to answer an email from a listener.
Email from a real live person.
Yeah, a real live person. He was the best man at my wedding, so he does have some connection with us, but he's still a real live person and I didn't ask him to do it, so I'm having it. I'm taking it. Then we're going to have my WrestleThoughts. Then Jake's going to quiz us into the dirt. And then Jake's going to tell us his WrestleThoughts. Mm-hmm. Then we're going to exchange WrestlePoems.
Ooh.
And then we're going to pop out a little Gonzalez award. And then we're going to say goodbye.
And that'll be a sad time.
It will.
So what's first?
Dave,
what have you been up to?
What have you been up to?
What have you been up
since
to?
the last time we spoke, which was last week, I believe.
Last week, yeah. Not much really. I've been to York, went out on the drink and stuff like that. I had a friend who went to the Absolute Wrestling at the Linskill Centre, which was on Saturday, the 5th of August. I don't know when this podcast is going to go out, so I'll give you that date. We talked about going, but we couldn't go because I was going out to York on the Hoy.
Did you have a nice time in York?
I had a lovely time in York. It's a very nice place, very nice part of the world. He said it was really good though, the Absolute Wrestling at the Linskill Centre. I don't remember it being advertised, but apparently there was a ladder match. And I can't remember the what?
Wish I was there.
I wish I was there too. I think we should start going to more of these. I'm just going to get it up on my phone what he said about the show because he gave us a little bit of a review.
We need to go to this wrestling that we want to go to. We need extra money from somewhere.
We need extra, yeah.
Maybe we can rob a bank.
It's because
we're
we're real life people with real jobs and podcasting is not a real job, so
maybe we could like extort someone. We could get like information on someone and like extort them for money.
yeah. So HT Drake, Mr. Massive, and some guy from The Forgotten were in a ladder match of some sort, and he sent us some videos and it looks crazy. Like he said, because it was advertised as family fun, he said it was really brutal. He said he'd never seen a better live wrestling match before, so props to Absolute. He also told us that they're starting a weekly episodic sort of show on YouTube as well.
Absolute.
So that'll be something we could tune into as well.
We'll have to get all over that, like an no thing.
Because, well, obviously we don't get to go and see it as much. I think he said they're going to do like a bulk recording, you know, like they do for NXT and stuff like that. So I think that might be one to get into. So yeah, thanks for that, Brett Devonish. If anyone's out there and they go to a wrestling event and they want me to talk about it, get in touch with me at the WrestleFriends Podcast at yahoo.com or on YouTube or on other social media outlets. Another funny thing that happened this week was Jake got a finger infection.
I was going to
This is hilarious.
I was going to say that.
It's the story that comes after the finger infection that's hilarious. So, you know how I like visit hospital like at least once a week. This week it was to take Jake to hospital because his finger started swelling and it like went round a bit and a bit yellow. So I took him up to hospital and they said we're gonna have to burst that. So they wanted to lance it and get all the pus out of it, but he wouldn't let him do it because he's a wimp.
You wouldn't let him do it?
So what they did was, you know, the laughing gas that they give pregnant ladies. So they said, right, we're going to put you, they lay him down and they put the laughing gas mask on him. And he started getting a bit like, drunk is the only word I could. It was hilarious. He was like, have you seen that bit in Trainspotting where Renton's like trying to get off heroin and he's lying in a bed and he's like tossing and turning and he sees a creepy baby and stuff like that? It was like he was tossing himself around the bed like that and then he started going, woozy woozy woo. And then
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I gave him a cup of water, which he dropped all over his hands, so it looked like he pissed himself. So like, then 2 minutes later, he was like, he tried to get up, and honestly, it was like Bambi on ice. He was like falling over. And then
So
when he did eventually come back round. It was quite funny. He was like, "That was quite good, Dad. I wouldn't mind doing that again."
Hopefully, you won't grow up abusing drugs because of that experience.
That's really honestly.
How do you think you got the bacteria in your finger? Have you been touching dog poo again?
No.
Touching bums. Right. Other than that, I've just been enjoying being off work because I like being off. I get to be me again. It's nice.
A real person.
The real me.
What about you, Jake? What have you been up to apart from having your finger bopped? And
Not much.
Not much.
that's it, just staring at the wall again.
You've been to see family from Wales. You went to Wet and Wild.
You went Annick?
Oh,
You went to Annick, yes.
Actually, I've got am I allowed to tell this story about how, what happened with me and my grand?
No,
Oh, okay.
that's kind of a personal story. You can't tell personal
You'll have to
stories.
fill us in later.
Yeah, you won't be interested. Big shout out to Gran.
Yeah.
I've
Have you been up to anything, Mark?
I went to Amanda's dad's caravan.
Oh,
Um,
that calls for a Caravan of Love song. Every boy and every man join the caravan of love. Stand up,
stand up.
stand up.
That was beautiful.
Wasn't it?
I enjoyed it. We went to Richmond. I played some Pokemon Go in Richmond. It was cool going and staying there because there was 2 other people to look after the baby. So there was
cool.
like 4 people to look after the baby. So it
Uh-huh.
meant I didn't do very much.
That is good.
Did
you have a little drinky poos?
I didn't know. I didn't. Because I'm boring and old.
I did have a drinky poos when I was in York. It was an all day drinky poos, which made us feel all day ill the next
Did
day.
you do any sillies?
Were
Were you allowed on the train?
Me and my mate decided we needed some alcohol for the train on the way home, so when we were walking to the train, which was like 20 minutes, like the train was coming in 20 minutes, we decided we need to run back to the co-op to get some cans of lager for the train.
Yeah.
And then on the way back we were on the phone to his missus, and we basically lied and said that because we thought we were outside the train station, and we said we were still in the co-op, so they were obviously my wife and his missus started panicking a bit. As soon as he got off the phone, I did inform him that we actually were lost. We weren't at the train station, we were at the post office, which was quite funny. But we did find our way back to the train station in time, and then brutally attacked on the way back from some drunk people. The bridge that you cross over at Central Station to come back in. Some drunken alcoholic
Like poor
plotties.
people. Like poor people.
They came running. No, they were like obviously just got off the train, came for a night out in Newcastle. They'd obviously been drinking. They were in far worse clip than us. So, and they ended up pushing my wife over because she pushed my mate's missus out of the way because she was pregnant. Which could have obviously. So Vicky and my wife ended up like on the floor, pushed over, and then I shouted at the woman. And it escalated from there to the point where my other mates, this woman was going for me. My mate stuck his arm out like that, and then this woman got floored. And then we were like, "Ooh, let's get out the train station."
So
Exciting
anyone
times.
who's listened, definitely visit Newcastle for a night out. That's what happens when you get off the train immediately.
It's a beautiful part of the world. I'm wondering if they got arrested though, because we were just sort of like protecting ourselves.
Yeah.
And protecting other people around as well, because there was old people there and they were tearing arson it through the train station, and it was really inappropriate thing to be doing. And it was quite early as well. We got back at sort of like 6:30, so there was kids around and stuff like that. So I hope that they get locked up.
They probably would have gone and done an angry on someone else.
They probably got locked up somewhere in Newcastle. I like to think that they got locked up as soon as they got off the train and never got the night out in Newcastle. I think that would be a really, really funny thing to happen to idiots. So yeah, that's it. Anyone got anything out of weekly things?
No, not really.
No? Time for some WrestleThoughts then?
Did Do you have any wrestle thoughts?
I've got wrestle thoughts aplenty. Let's just think of a little
Do you have
song.
any? Yeah, I was going to say songs.
All I've got is Caravan of Love stuck in my head now, so I might just do a. I've been having wrestle thoughts, having lots of wrestle thoughts, wrestle thoughts,
Wrestle thoughts.
wrestle thoughts.
That was beautiful.
That was good, that wasn't it?
Acapella.
Right, episode 8. Episode 8 we're up to. Episode 8, Wrestle Thoughts. Apparently there's a lot of backstage heat on Enzo Amore. Have you heard about this?
No.
I've read it briefly. He's supposed to have a little bit of an attitude problem, I think.
Apparently Enzo Amore is Enzo Amore all the time. So what you see on TV is what you get backstage. Apparently Roman Reigns is throwing him off the tour bus.
Yeah, I heard because they did something similar years ago to the Miz, where they made him. He was eating chicken in the locker room.
He's got like Miz heat apparently.
So they made him get dressed in the lobby.
And
I think that sounds like a similar thing's happening.
But it sounds like it's a real thing that's actually happening. So much so I was watching Bring It to the Table last night, and they were talking about it. So Corey Graves, JBL, and that little fat bald dude. We're talking about it, and
What's his name?
I don't know his name. Who is he? Who is he? He's not on anything else apart from Bring It to the
Isn't
Table.
he like a sports caster? Like,
is he on like ESPN or something like that? They were talking about it, and they were all because I think they were allowed to go pretty much off script on that, and he was like they were basically said, I don't like him, don't like him, don't like the person he is. Apparently he's been bringing people backstage and stuff, and they've been taking photos of wrestlers and stuff like that. So
just not
wrestling etiquette.
No.
So what do you do with Enzo Amore? What do you do with a problem like Enzo?
Surely somebody in management, Vince, because I wouldn't get rid of him because I think he's talented. So
I think he's good on the mic. He's
like,
got to be the best on the microphone.
Triple H or Vince needs to smack him on the bum.
Do you ship him off back to NXT? There's rumours of people going back to NXT.
I think that would work. NXT as a solo guy, but then where does he fit in NXT?
What about the Cruiserweight?
Cruiserweights would be more, but he'd still be on the road because it's done before SmackDown every week. I think.
What they should do is with the Cruiserweights, they should do it in Full Sail, which we've said week after week, and then he would be out the way, and he would be on that.
But that's a full restructure just for Enzo.
I know, but they should just do that anyway. That should be a restructure. I think that should happen anyway.
Yeah, I think the whole Enzo thing is like he kind of behaves like wrestlers in the 70s were encouraged to like live your gimmick all the time, like in bars and stuff, and I think that's just not how it's done nowadays.
Do you wonder if it's a gimmick or if he's just actually like a prick?
A tool. Like a Jersey Shore.
Just a full-on prick.
Tit.
Yeah, he looks like the type with hair like that. You'd imagine you're a bit of a tit.
Yeah, like in the world of wrestling, I'm like, oh, Enzo is cool. But if I saw him like when I was just wandering around, I'd be like, what is this guy?
Can you imagine him like doing that little silly dance thing all the time when you're trying to have you're trying to have a serious conversation with him? And imagine Big Cass being seriously, because apparently some of the promos that Cass has been doing where he's been calling him out and saying that he's been carrying him and stuff like that. Apparently they've been pretty like spot on, real sort of promos.
I still don't see much future for Big Cass.
I can't see where they're going with that neither, but like
no.
But I like the idea of Roman just kind of
chucking him off the bus.
Like I think you've got John Cena and you had the Undertaker. I think now Roman has to kind of be seen as locker room leader because of how much kind of prestige he's held under in the company. So I've imagined that scenario in my head and it makes us laugh every time. I'd like to think that he like speared him off the bus.
I would like to think that he was wearing them pants he's got with the poop emoji on the back.
Yeah.
And he got thrown off the bus and landed on his poop emoji, and then when he stood up it looked like he shit himself.
I think he was being like a loud dick on the bus, and like Roman just walked up and the like Usos were behind him and they just had their arms crossed and they were just shaking their head.
What, the bloodline?
The bloodline.
Did he literally what did he do? Did he like get the bus driver to stop and then just chuck Enzo off the bus?
I do think it would be funny if he was moving.
Right. Jake, just before you move on, can you do something for us? In a Roman Reigns voice, can you say, bus driver, can you stop? We've got a knacker on the bus. In Roman Reigns' voice.
bus driver, can you stop? We've got a knuckle on the bus.
Nice.
Nice.
That was
Shut
good.
up.
Good impression. Good. And then Enzo's like, no, man, no.
I got poo on my pants.
I'm the realest guy on the bus. Yeah.
That was good. I enjoyed that.
Right.
Yeah, you stupid idiot.
Next headline. It's more Global Force Wrestling news. My thoughts are more like news, if you noticed.
Remind me, Global Force Wrestling is the name of TNA now.
Yeah, which is then Impact. So it was TNA, then it was Impact. Now it's GFW, but it's still called Impact. I don't know.
So is it like is it like Global Force Wrestling, but Impact's the show, like Raw, SmackDown?
Yeah, but they've like combined titles and stuff like that.
All right.
It's still shit.
Is it like? Have they combined titles with like
GFW?
Which was is that
Magnus? Well, it's Magnus, I think. But now
Jeff
Magnus
Jarrett?
Jeff Jarrett's now top
Second.
dog at Impact again.
Right, but that was his like side promotion type thing.
Yeah, but now
Okay.
he's back at. He's doing it all now.
Confusing.
But they're just making all the same mistakes again by the looks of it, because apparently they want Jack Swagger.
I always thought Jack Swagger had a lot of potential, like.
So do I, but we've also interested in, we've spoke about John Morrison and now also Rey Mysterio. It's kind of like
Wouldn't go for Rhea.
it's WWE's cast-offs, really, isn't it? It's that like
I think not like Jack Swagger, not really, because he was so underutilized for a lot of years. If you kind of push him, it's like people are going to see him in a new light.
yeah.
And John Morrison kind of, he's got a lot of give. I think he's like a good worker, but Ray totally cast off. Like
Yeah,
that's just
he's,
for
I mean,
just for
I
the.
heard rumours that the WWE were looking at him again, but apparently his representative is Conan,
Yeah.
and the WWE won't have anything to do with him after all that palaver years ago. So watch that scene. I think they do need some.
Conan was the original
I
Max
think they
Moon.
need some new top guys, because, like we spoke about before, Alberto El Patron, whatever he's called. I think he's a really naff champion. I don't really rate him, and I never really have.
I like him in the ring.
Do you like him in the ring? I
Yeah.
don't think he's got much about him, to be honest. He's obviously good in the ring, but like his gimmick's a bit shit. And I don't like Bobby Lashley either. So anyway,
It doesn't get a lot of love, Big Bobo, does he?
No.
I'm not a big fan.
Poor
Um,
Bobby.
Apparently WWE claimed they would make 30 million in profit this year, and it looks like that's not anywhere near.
It's the same in wrestling. They always inflate like attendances, like how much they're making.
But that means I think a lot of our favourite shows might start getting cut. So far, Talking Smack's already gone.
I just came back.
Has it?
Just like as a web so.
Oh
web,
no!
web
What
episode.
they've done is it's still on after pay-per-views,
Oh.
but eventually they're going to be cutting it all together. But they're not renewing the Edge and Christian show, which I thought was really funny. There'll be lots of stuff.
They
I
still have
imagine.
their podcast to listen to.
I wonder if like 205 will get sacked off.
That would make the most sense. As long as they protect NXT. If they mess around with NXT, I'll write them a strongly worded letter. That's for sure.
I was really looking forward to the UK thing, but I wonder if that'll even happen now because of
Well, they did.
205's failure and the fact that they're cutting costs.
They did the big tournament,
Uh-huh.
UK, and then they did a one-off special. But other than that, they've not.
Well,
But they're using it to advertise WWE around the UK because he defends the belt like all over, doesn't
yeah,
he?
I don't know if it was a thingy, wasn't it? What was it called?
Progress.
One of them. He defended
And
it.
a few people like Noam Dar and Jack Gallagher are wrestling in Britain on shows.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I've seen that as well. So I don't know. It'll be good. I would have liked to have seen that show though, but I wonder if it'll happen now.
Yeah, what they need to cut is things like well, I know they're popular, but like Total Divas and stuff like that. Like
Who watches that though?
I think like on E in America, like lots of women watch it and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking like we're wrestling fans, like use
More
that money
wrestling.
on a wrestling show. I understand why they do it, but
I like this. I like
they make more money on
I
that
like
than a lot of other
the
things. I would
shows.
imagine.
You know, like Bring It to the Table
Yeah.
and Talking Smack and Raw
Cheap.
Talk.
They've got to be cheap to make.
Because it gives them like the wrestlers were like being kind of real on it, and I thought it got them they were like off script sort of thing, and they're not really allowed to do that on telly anymore.
No.
And I thought that was a good thing to have for that reason, but I think they might have cut the wrong programs. Personally, they've got them silly little cartoons that nobody watches.
No.
They could get rid of.
It's got to be expensive to hire animators.
Yeah.
It's got to be more expensive to hire animators and make Camp WWE than it has to have a room and some audio equipment. Like, Talking Smack, not expensive.
I could see the
program
Edge
to
of
make.
Christian show. That probably cost a lot of money because they've done a lot of skits and stuff like that. But there's got to be.
I like the Edge and Christian show, but for me that would be one of the first ones to go because it's not a wrestling show.
Yeah.
But that's just personal opinion.
Anyway, Cena versus Nakamura. This is another thing that caught my attention because he nearly broke his neck.
Oh, that was my WrestleThought.
Soz, do you want to say something about it? No.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Man.
It was a bit of a botched up move, and it looked like he landed really badly on it. Do you blame Nakamura for this, or do you blame Cena for landing like that? Or apparently there's a lot of heat on Nakamura.
I'm not sure who I blame. I think.
Or do you just say this is wrestling and stuff like this is going to happen eventually anyway?
Yeah, and also like Nakamura has come from Japan. He's learned from the strong style. Like
I see what you did
he's
there.
like, but he was like ex MMA and stuff. So Cena had to be prepared to get a few things. Like everyone I hear interviewed when they're asked about Nakamura, they're always saying when you wrestle him, like that you're wrestling him because he's snug with how he works. So I think people get dropped on the head all the time when people get excited with suplexes and stuff.
Other than that botched move, do you think that was Nakamura's best match since he got called up to the main roster?
I do, and controversially, I think Cena. A lot of people's best matches are with Cena.
No, I agree.
Even though
I like the fact that he started. I mean, he really is now starting to put people over quite a bit, and I think the next one will probably be Roman. I think who's he fighting? He's fighting Baron Corbin. It'll be interesting to see if he gets beat off Corbin at SummerSlam because that'll be 2 straight defeats.
What I think they're going to do...
Would that hurt him though? Because he could just go straight to Raw then, couldn't he?
I think he's going to I think Cena's going to beat him. I think what they're doing with Corbin is they can have him lose because he's got the money in the bank. And it doesn't hurt him. Like he lost against Nakamura. Oh no, it wasn't. He didn't lose. It was like he got disqualified.
Yeah, he disqualified. This is the scenario that.
Or he could get disqualified against Cena.
He might John Cena might beat him, but then I don't think it'll hurt him because I think that Shinsuke Nakamura is going to win the title, but I think Baron Corbin's going to cash in the money in the bank at SummerSlam and walk out champion.
I think
they did this at WrestleMania 31 as well with Randy Orton and Seth Rollins facing each other. Randy Orton beat Rollins, and then Rollins cashed in money in the bank and won the title. That's
good wrestle knowledge just grabbed out there. It's the same scenario. I also think Corbin could just get DQ'd in all his matches because he's a heel and then cash in, and then the same way as Kevin Owens never won a match clean when he was champion.
Good top heel, Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
He's certainly turned me around when I never got him on.
I'm a big fan, mate.
Never got him on NXT. Never got him when he first called up, but he's like, I like that. He's that whole like lone wolf thing. It's hard to be a heel and a lone wolf. I think he gets people to boo him, but doesn't like. What's the word I'm looking for? Doesn't like. Right, it's gone. Move on.
I think he'll be more of a draw than Jinder Mahal, and I think he'll.
I don't think Jinder's going to drop the belt.
Do you not?
To Shinsuke and that.
No.
I think there'll be some shenanigans. We haven't seen the Singh brothers this week.
I think he's going to drop it soon. He's had it a while.
I think he needs a little bit of a longer reign. I'm worried where that leaves him.
I think that leaves him where he's meant to be.
I don't want... No.
He just needs to go away.
No, he doesn't. I love Jinder.
I'm not... honestly...
That stable's one of my favourite things in wrestling.
I've come up and down with that. And I'm back to not liking it anymore.
Our first episode was Dave versus the Singh brothers, but I think the Singh brothers are now an important member important members of the roster. That's got to be one of the worst bumps since Mick Foley got chucked off the cage. That
they are good at bumping and stuff like that. Now, like Randy Orton looks like he loves throwing them around, but
I would as well.
That's a thing of the past now.
I think we'll have a good match next time around, Jinder.
Question: who's getting a bit bored of Bray Wyatt's promos?
Meh.
What, they're just nonsense, I'm a god, blah blah blah.
Do you not feel like every single feud Bray Wyatt's in is now the same? Everything is now, like the whole build up to every single match that he has is now the same.
I haven't actually watched the Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor feud.
No, well I tell you what it is, the crowd are like stale at the minute when they come on, and Finn Balor should be setting people on fire at the minute, I think.
He's probably over the last 5 or 6 years been the most mismanaged wrestler on the roster, Bray Wyatt. He loses, then he gains a little bit of traction, then he loses.
I think they've got this whole thing with him, like he doesn't need to win because he's the face of fear, but they didn't, like, look at Undertaker, he was a beast.
He didn't lose.
He needs to win. He needs to win if he's going to be taken seriously as the face of fear, and it's either that or just, I don't. What do you do with him after this? Because if Finn Balor beats him, do you think the Demon will come out?
What if Finn Balor?
SummerSlam, do you think it'll be Demon?
I think we'll do
Bray?
Demon at SummerSlam, yeah.
I don't know. I think if it's Demon versus Bray, I've got to go for Demon.
You've got to.
Demon's gonna win.
I think you protect your investment. I think that Finn Balor is more valuable to them long term, in terms of like merch and stuff.
I think the worst thing they're doing with Bray Wyatt was switching to Raw. I think he was just coming off the back of his title run on SmackDown. I think they should have kept him there.
Title run should have gone on longer. Everything's everything's an afterthought. Everything's an afterthought.
In the title picture for a bit as well, and knocked Randy Orton down a peg or two because he didn't need it. He didn't need it at that stage in his career. I don't know. Not a big fan.
Surely Randy Orton's got to be looking at the Cena reduced.
You would have thought so.
Like, what's the word?
Like Legends contract.
Legend contract.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't seem to be showing any sort of interest in acting or anything like that, though, does he? Ely Brothers done a stop no.
Yes.
Which was good.
Yep.
That was between Bobby Roode and little what's his face?
Roderick Strong.
Little Roddy Eye. That seems to be dragging on a bit as well.
It has. Well, I've got some good WrestleThoughts about that in my.
But I just thought it was funny that the Ely's done a stop no. It was good.
I think any time the Ely brothers are on screen, I'm happy. So we've had a lot of Ely brothers getting squashed, like coming out really aggressive, calling out AOP a couple of months ago. That was dumb.
That was silly.
I'm one day they're gonna come out and they're gonna actually do something.
Like
will that make us like them less? If they're good.
Probably.
do you know what I noticed? Last time they came out, they didn't have the sparkly capes. I'm a big fan of the sparkly capes.
They were still hitting each other.
They were still hitting each other. So yeah, Ely brothers love.
Ely for life. Last thought from me is it's the 20th anniversary of Degeneration X getting together as a stable. My favourite stable of all time. Just wanted to know what your favourite DX moment was.
Your favourite DX moment? I'm gonna have to think about it. Do you have a favourite DX moment?
One of my favourite DX moments was where they had to do the public apology and they had to do like a press conference sort of apology before Raw went on air, and they just like swore all the way through it. I thought that was hilarious. And it actually, like, where it should have got Raw took off air, it actually done great things for Raw.
I think my favourite DX moment is a later one when they came back in the mid 2000s and it was just Shawn and Triple H, and they put Jonathan Coachman's like head through the wall, and then pulled his pants down.
They used to do that in Michael Cole all the time when they were first. Have you got a favourite DX moment?
When Hornswoggle became a member of DX, but they turned on him and pedigreed him.
Yeah, I also liked it when
hang on, I'm gonna revise. Impressions of Shane and Vince.
Yeah,
that's my favourite.
Oh, yeah, we got DX dressing up. Remember when they done the Nation?
The Nation.
That was classic.
That's my favourite actually.
They did the New Day did a kind of shout out thing on YouTube.
Classic DX. But
nice,
that's
nice wrestle.
They're all my thoughts.
Nice wrestle thought there.
Thanks.
You got
Thanks,
6
man.
sports.
Eh?
You got 6 sports.
6
Well,
thoughts.
adults get as many as they want. You get 2. It's just how it rolls. How we roll.
Get thinking. What's next?
So we got our first ever email this week.
Crikey, do you want to read it?
It was from my best friend Ben, so it kind of doesn't count. But anyway, I'm gonna read it.
What about the YouTube one?
Shh, keep that for later.
Secrets.
Hi chaps, I haven't really watched wrestling since the Attitude Era, but listening to the podcast has got me reminiscing. Mark Henry's sexual chocolate persona popped into my head, and although at the time I thought, not wrong with that, looking back it may have been a bit wrong. Just wondered which gimmicks, names, personas you think are the least PC ever. Cheers, Ben. Thank you, Ben.
Thanks, Ben. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I've got some absolute doozies here. So let's just get me notes in order. Right. So non-PC gimmicks. We've got my first one's Saba Simba. That's from 1990. Tony Atlas was a regular power wrestler, former WWE Tag Team Champion with Rock's dad, Rocky Johnson. Had some brief problems financially and became homeless, and then in 1990 came back to WWE. Vince McMahon repackaged him as Saba Simba, who came dancing to the ring with an African headpiece with a spear and shield. Hashtag racist. My second,
like racist foreigner. They still do it.
it was just like African drums, like dum 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 dum. So my second, sorry.
What's a non-PC gimmick just saying?
Political correctness.
Correct.
So like bad, like offensive. So my second non-PC gimmick is from 1998. In the Attitude Era, it was Alcoholic Hawk. So Hawk of
that was really
Hawk of the Road Warriors, an LOD who had substance abuse in real life, became a character who turned up to work drunk.
Didn't he fall off the top of the Titantron once?
Fell off, yeah. So that was the end. That was the blow off. Is that he climbed the Titantron when he was loaded and fell off because he was suicidal. So Hawk died in real life in 2003 of a heart attack.
They brought
Hashtag bad taste.
They brought in draws, didn't they? And he was like,
He was his enabler.
yeah, and like he's actually, was he not like a real life alcoholic as well or something?
I don't know.
He got crippled though, didn't he?
He got crippled in real life, yeah.
Yeah.
Handicapped is probably a better word.
Handicap match, it was bad.
Yeah, D'Lo Brown dropped him on his head. Non-PC gimmick number 3, Crime Time. Shad Gaspar and JTG.
He was on JR's podcast a few.
JTG. So he was selling a book, wasn't he?
Yeah.
A tag team who turned up and stole from people, and were faced negative black stereotypes. Hashtag racist. I've got my notes in order. I found them. Right. This is the worst one of them all. The ultimate solution. Jeep Swenson, who played Bane in Batman and Robin, was brought in to face Hogan and Savage in WCW in 1995. His initial name was The Final Solution. Quickly realising how offensive it was, later changed to The Ultimate Solution. Not much better. Hashtag Holocaust. I think if you're going to stay away from anything, the death of 6 million Jews is where you stay away from.
Why are we laughing at
But I can't decide whether they were just stupid or like they did that on purpose.
I think sometimes it's stupidity and non-thinking. Vince McMahon's like a bit of a stupid old man, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like your old racist granddad that used to sit.
But this is WCW, so this is like.
Oh, is that WCW?
Turners.
I've thought of a few of these.
I've got one left.
Done? Sorry.
So my last one is, in 2005, Chavo Guerrero was repackaged as Kerwin White. He renounced his Mexican heritage and wanted to be known as White, wore a sweater vest, carried golf clubs, and dyed his hair blonde. His catchphrase, and this is no joke, was, "It's alright if it's all white." Gimmick dropped. when his uncle Eddie Guerrero died in real life.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Any Samoans and any Japanese are racist.
Any sort of flag match really is a bit racist where the American wins. Which we've just had at John Cena.
Yeah.
Rusev one. Why are we still doing them?
That was the most racist pay-per-view ever.
What other racisms were involved?
Flag match in a Punjabi prison.
Yeah, it's kind of saying if you're in prison in the Punjab, then it's going to be proper bad. So yeah, that is quite racist.
And you're going to be locked up in bamboo and stuff.
Yeah.
Right. What about Val Venus, the porn star?
Yeah.
That was quite inappropriate.
Because like kids probably still watch wrestling, even though it was the Attitude Era.
Well, I did.
So it's like this guy acts in adult.
So he actually stole Goldust's wife, didn't he, Terry Reynolds? And
slept with Ken Shamrock's sister.
And made an inappropriate fit. Yeah, that happened. So this is Val Venus. Really inappropriate guy. Then Goldust, he must have been a bit of a shocker when he first came around. I'm
gonna go out there and say that WWE were making fun of gay people with their Goldust.
Cross-dressing people. Who else was I thinking of? The Godfather with his hose.
Yeah. So this guy came to the ring with sex workers on a wrestling television show. Is it legal to?
DX playing strip poker in the middle of the ring. The list goes on. It's endless, really. The foreigners.
All the
foreigners are bad guys.
Going back to Ben's comment as well, sexual chocolate. So you've got he's like a sex pest, and you're describing a black man as a chocolate.
Oh, there was the time Triple H accused Kane of having sexual intercourse with a dead person.
Yeah, that's pretty much the lowest of the low.
I can't actually believe who thought that was a good idea. Was it Triple H? Was it Kane? Was it who thought that was a good idea?
I don't know. Somebody should have just thought, let's not do this. It's brought up so often, the Katie Vick angle.
I think we need to just finish that there, because you don't get worse than that in inappropriate moments.
WWE is just racist.
Amongst other things. Do you ever feel bad that this thing that you love has so many negative connotations? Yeah, me too.
I'm probably just as bad, because every time someone mentions the Mae Young Classic, I start thinking that's just one big sandwich break for me.
You're sexist. But do you not think the way that you view women's wrestling is because you've been damaged by how WWE
Attitude Era damaged me forever, yeah. I'm scarred for life.
I'm all about it, women's wrestling. Woo!
Yeah, you like it, don't you? You're a big
I genuinely during the Attitude Era, it was a piss break. Because it was garbage, the girls couldn't wrestle. But when you've got Alexa, Sasha, Bailey, Ember Moon, Asuka, they can go. Ember Moon's got the best finisher in wrestling at the minute.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it? I agree. All right, we're gonna move on.
Yeah.
Moving on.
I've messed up all of my papers.
That was an exciting. I like the email. Thanks.
Thanks, Ben.
Ben, thank you.
Ben can be called white chocolate.
Yeah. Why?
Because he's not sexual. He's white. And he's chocolatey. It's not funny. Right. So my wrestle thoughts are about NXT episode 405. I love those numbers.
You do, don't you? I've not seen this.
It happened on the 9th of the 8th, 2017.
Spoiler alert.
You don't mind us being spoilers?
Not really. I've probably seen half of her things on YouTube.
So to start off with, Sanity called out AOP. Nikki Cross, Alexander Wolf and Killian Dane came out in the ring calling them out, and then when they came out, EY attacked them from behind. He then cuffed Razor to the guardrail and while they beat down Akam. Razor breaks the guardrail and drags it into the ring, but also gets beat down. Wolf and Dane lift up the belts in a kind of sending a message. It was nice to see Sanity as a unit again. We've not seen them
been a while, hasn't it?
I think EY's been having, because he gets polyps on his throat.
Does he?
So twice a year he has to get them removed. So I think that's where he's been. However,
is that why his voice is so funny?
Yeah, that's why he's like. Yeah, it's because of an actual condition. However, I think Sanity will lose this feud as well.
Do you think this might be Sanity's final hurrah in NXT?
Or AOP's?
Yeah, they could be the guys who are attacking Breeze Dango. It would be so bring them into a comedy feud though. That would be silly, wouldn't it?
It would. It wouldn't kind of fit in. I don't think I'd like them seeing them around Breeze Dangle. It was strange to see AOP left like laying in the ring. I don't think we've ever seen that before. No. Does this make AOP the faces in this feud?
I don't know. It kind of went off sanity for a bit.
They're good. They're better when they're all
it's
together.
Good when they're all together, but then they've done the whole. They were separated and stuff
like
that.
What? Like McIntyre's the number one contender. Didn't he beat Killian Dane for the number one contendership? So maybe now that EY's back, they might have more stuff together. And him being the kind of manager.
Yeah.
EY.
Eric
Young. Oh. Yeah, cool.
Next, there was a clip of Ember Moon hitting an eclipse on Asuka. The contract signing is next week on NXT.
I love a good contract signing.
I wonder if it'll be incident free.
Oh, I doubt it.
I see Asuka losing the belt at TakeOver and being called up to Raw.
She's got to be definite main roster after SummerSlam.
Raw after SummerSlam. So I think that's the end of Asuka on NXT. At least I hope so. I think it's getting a little bit.
Why don't you ask her?
Lol. I think it's getting a little bit kind of stale now.
She's beat Goldberg's streak, hasn't she?
Yeah. Can't really do a lot more than that.
Nah.
Peyton Royce and Billie Kay mock Ruby Riot's tattoos and call her a mess.
They're funny, them.
They are.
I like them too. They're kind of like...
I'm not even kidding, she's annoying me now, what a mess.
They're kind of like...
In an Australian accent.
They're kind of like a female sort of thing that I would like if they were male, you know what I mean? Like, cocky, stable.
I think them two as a team could run roughshod on the main roster.
Uh-huh.
I think it's like having two people, like someone back you up. They don't really have anyone like that on in the kind of main roster girls.
They've done it a bit, what was it, in TNA, Beautiful People.
Yeah, similar to that.
Like that.
But done better because it's WWE.
Yeah.
So next was the debut of the Street Profits, who are now one of my favourite tag teams because they do dancing.
I'm looking forward to this. They do like Snapchat and stuff.
Yeah. So before it, there was a vignette where they were dancing about on trucks.
I don't know if NXT needs any more dancing people. Like.
No, but like, no way Jose loses every match, so they can be like good dancing people. They seemed over already. The crowd was like loving it.
NXT do that really well, don't they? With the little videos they play of people who are joining, they get them over before.
Well, that was it. Everyone knew who they were. And Angelo, it's good how they do. Like Angelo Dawkins has been there for years. He's the guy who does the like stirring the pot motion.
Oh yeah.
He's been there for years and he's never done anything. But put him in this team, few vignettes like over. There's been a few people that put in teams, like Alexander Wolf, for example, was around for years.
I knew he was.
Montez Ford, the other guy with him, super exciting, athletic, loads of like high flying moves. Really good dancer. Like
I was a bit worried these might end up a bit crime time.
They're not robbers. They're just like they're just party time.
Right.
They could have two white guys doing it. It's like they're like party boys.
Do you think if they went with two white guys, it would become a little bit like Grandmaster Sexy?
Yeah, they're cool, but like if there were two white guys, it would be less cool. So they won the match with a pop-up spine buster into a frog splash, which was quite nice. It was just a short squash. Their opponents were fellow debutantes JC and Chris, the Metro Boys. Old school 50s greasers is how I describe them. Carbon copies of Deuce and Domino from the mid 2000s, if you remember Deuce and Domino. Just like mini Deuce and Domino. Don't know if we'll see them around very much because they got beaten like seconds. So next was a clip of Hideo Itami attacking Aleister Black in the parking area.
Really?
Yeah. A match was made at TakeOver straight away. Can't see Hideo winning. Somehow.
No, I think that might be the end of him as well in NXT.
I don't know where they'd put him, main roster.
I think it's a
cruiserweight.
Possibly a cruiserweight.
He's only one
good contender for the title. It's either that or get rid of him altogether. I can't think of any other.
They've turned him heel, and he's not won a match since they've turned him heel.
I can't think of any way.
He would be good on SmackDown.
Oh no! I tell you what, he beat Oni Logan a couple of weeks ago.
What do you do with him?
Who would you have him face on SmackDown, Jake?
I need to think about this.
The only person I could think to get him put over on SmackDown would be Chris Jericho to get him over. You know what I mean? But that's Chris Jericho coming back for a while.
But say I was in charge of the company, I wouldn't be having Jericho lose to Hideo on telly.
Hideo was a big deal when he first came, though.
He was, but he's like, he needs to be rehabilitated on NXT before he's called up.
Well, maybe 205 is the best place to put him, but you then have to turn him face again so he could fight face off against Neville.
Wait, Iron Man.
Iron Man, Neville Man.
Iron Man, Neville.
So I unfortunately didn't recognise any of the Stop No men. So I've let you down there. You were separating them. One of them was Japanese, so he might have been Hideo's friend.
Maybe it was Shinsuke Nakamura.
It wasn't.
No.
Looked more like Tajiri.
Really?
Like a shorter squatter.
Tajiri's out of work now.
Right. So let's say for future's sake that it was Tajiri. Was one of the Stop No man.
Like
even though it definitely wasn't.
Tajiri Stop No man. We'll just call him that.
McIntyre and Rude have a face-to-face ahead of the Takeover Championship match. So this is quite complicated. So first of all, McIntyre called Rude an arse, which made us laugh.
Arse.
Arse. You're an arse. Exactly like that.
You're an arse.
He was banging on about being entitled to the belt. His usual stick. I love Rude on the mic. He's so good. But like McIntyre just turned around and said, "You're an arse." It was good. Rude had a security team with him, which was amazing. Mega heel.
So he's got like a entourage.
Yeah, like 5 or 6. And I think one of his security team was Tajiri, not Tajiri, Stop No man. So like that's 2 segments in a row that he was in it. So
man, he'd want to watch for the future.
He is. So Roderick Strong comes out and talks about fighting Rude, saying it's not for the title, it's personal. Rude says he will fight Strong if Strong can beat McIntyre next week on NXT. Regal makes the match, like Regal's like chairing the whole thing. Regal makes the match and says like, because Drew says, "Oh, I want the match, I'll face anyone," kind of thing. So it's meant to be like Rude playing them off all against each other. Faces are stupid, end of the day. Why would you take that match like weeks before you fight for the title?
Yeah.
It's stupid face logic. I must fight everyone, because I am face man.
You've got to look like heroes though, haven't they? They're not going to back down from a fight. You can't do that if you're a face, can you?
That's it. So what I say is going to happen is Strong beats Drew, gets his match after Takeover with Rude, but Drew beats Rude at Takeover and takes the belt. So the Strong and the Rude feud continues without the belt as like a personal thing, and McIntyre's your champion.
How long has Bobby Roode got left in NXT? He's been there over a year now. I can't imagine it being much
Strong
longer.
beats him in the feud and then he goes up.
Puts
Strong over and then Strong wrestles McIntyre.
He might come straight up after SummerSlam and then have that match whilst he's on the main roster. So you know how they do that sometimes.
Yeah, they did it with Ty Dillinger.
Yeah, they've done it with Finn Balor.
So you've got McIntyre as your champion. You have the blow off of Strong, and then he's already up.
One last match.
Is Roderick Strong doing anything for you yet, apart from being good in ring?
No.
This whole like baby, it's like the whole bit like, "You insulted my wife."
Yeah, it's not. How much lifespan has he got doing that?
I don't know.
Gimmick. It's like, feel sorry for me.
Anyone who is like super wrestler man always ends up in the mid card.
It's like Dean Malenko or something like that, isn't it? It's like he could be on the cruiserweights as well, though.
Roddy could, yeah. You could. The show could be made amazing with all these people. Like, because you've got your Rudes and your Blacks who are going to go main roster, but you've got like Roderick Strong, Tommy. You can make like cruiserweight. You can make the cruiserweights good again. Make the cruiserweights great again.
Good again. Was it ever good?
No.
WCW cruiserweights were like,
they were good.
Amazing. It's just it's all. It's like we always talk about. It's all in the production. It's all in how they're shown. Like you've always said, small venue, people would be rabid.
The thing is, though, people who go to see main
roster, Cruiserweight Classic was done there.
Main roster WWE aren't interested in that.
Yeah.
Whereas people who go to see NXT, they could record it before NXT.
And then we watch 205 Live, and because we want to like it, because they're like shitting all over it, the crowd, we're like, The
thing is, though, I can't actually watch 205 at the minute, and it's mainly down to the size of the arena and the little crowds in it. I can't like get away with it, and most of the cruiserweights haven't got much like going on story wise.
Yeah.
I think if you
Like Noam Dar's with Alicia Fox, like that's boring.
They just need to let Triple H have full control over it and let him do his thing.
The same with NXT.
And then I'm sure it will be great, but they're gonna have to do it quick because, like I say, they're cutting programs and it'll probably be next one to go. Is that your stop?
No.
No.
Gargano, nice to see Gargano back.
It was. I really thought he'd win.
Asks for a match at TakeOver. Can't wait for Ciampa to return and resume the feud. Maybe task Gargano at TakeOver.
Yeah.
Oni Lorcan versus Danny Burch was the next segment. Love Lorcan's again. I bet it is a third match. Love Lorcan's running European uppercut. Looks like it would really hurt.
Me and Jake call Oni Lorcan Oni Walking.
Is that because you're a funny guys?
Because he walks to the ring funny.
With his arm in the air. He walks like Alan Shearer celebrated.
He's only walking.
He kind of like, oh, you guys are so funny.
We're so crazy, aren't we?
It was a hard-hitting technical war. Holds, strikes and suplexes. Birch wins with a pinning combination, which means one win each.
Did
so
anyone get hurt? Busted open this time?
Nah, they battered each other, but nobody got busted open. So one each in the series. There'll be a rubber match. Great match for the purists, but both guys, I can't help thinking like amazing wrestlers, but like where do you go past?
Stop, no man in the future.
It's like a Roderick Strong syndrome. Is what apart from putting his arm in the air.
Danny
what
Burch
else?
could have went. Is it Danny Burch? It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
He could go to the UK
Championship. Well, he would be. He really wrestled in both of them.
If it ever happens.
I hope it does.
How else?
They could have their third match at TakeOver.
Yeah. That'll be a sandwich break, I think. Probably.
Not for me.
No.
I like a good old like no personality technical brawl. So the final match was No Way Jose versus Andre Cien Almas.
He's still
kicking around.
He's still loving No Way Jose.
I like it when he dances and does the conga. So I've got written down here, Jose dances with the crowd and starts a conga. What a lot of fun. But past that, honestly, this was a squash. He got beat in 2 minutes.
Do you think this wifey that Andre, what's he called? And I can't see.
Yeah.
Do you think it's better in his gimmick? I think it is.
So Cien has a new valet, Selena Vega, who seems to stop acting like a dick and going out on the piss.
Yeah.
Is what I wrote down.
Uh-huh.
Encouraging him to be more aggressive. Cien wins quickly with a hammerlock DDT, and it was all because he was like dicking around, like jumping on the ropes and that. And she was like, finish him, but like in Spanish. Can you say finish him in Spanish accent?
I've heard. I don't even know what a Spanish accent.
What about Finito?
Finito.
Finish him.
Try again.
Finish him.
That was like Japanese.
That was like Gollum from Lord of the Rings. So Cien wins quickly with a hammerlock DDT. Positive push for Almas. Jose is now an official whipping boy. Can't wait for TakeOver. More excited about that than SummerSlam.
There's no place for Jose on the main roster.
No. In fact, I've got my No Jose t-shirt on eBay as we speak.
Really?
Yeah. So only negatives about the show: no heavy machinery, no Patrick Clark. What can you do?
Positives for me, but anyway, moving on. What's next?
What is next? It's time for Jake's WrestleQuiz.
Woo!
Nice.
Sorry.
You interrupted his theme there. That's punishable by death. Theme.
WrestleQuiz.
He was looking at
Maybe you should have
He was going to knock you out.
It was intense.
Come on then, let's have another beating for me.
I've got 2 WrestleQuizes actually.
So is it 2-1?
Let's do one to you. How many questions? 5? Best out of 5?
I've actually got 2 WrestleQuizes.
Right, we'll just do one.
One. How
Okay.
Put the book down out the way of the microphone so we can hear you.
Name the only WWE title to ever change hands in Africa.
Can you repeat the question?
Name the only WWE title to ever change hands in Africa.
Intercontinental?
The WWF Championship.
No, the women's tag team.
The women's tag team.
Yeah.
Is that
what year was this?
I don't know. I got it from the book.
Right, well, can I request a little bit more? When it's something obscure like that, can we have more information? I think our listeners would like it.
If anyone's got any information on this women's
Did
tag team
WWF have a women's tag team title? Is that it?
Well, probably.
And where was the show in Africa?
Europe. No, not Europe. Egypt.
Egypt, right. Dave, what's the our email address if anyone wants to contact us?
It's the WrestleFriends Podcast at yahoo.com. Where did you get this information from? The book that Mark gave you?
Yeah.
Well, I think we should have a look at that later on.
Yeah.
Question 2 and 2.
This quiz is about like Attitude Era and the New Era.
And
Cool.
made up things.
Yeah. What was the date AJ Styles won the WWE Championship and defeated Dean Ambrose?
The date?
Yeah.
The exact date.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Dave.
Are you kidding?
No.
16th of March 2016.
It was
Not even close.
It was 2016 though.
Yeah.
And it was.
That's as close as I'm going to get.
August 2016.
That would be SummerSlam.
Alright. July 2016.
What? Like.
It was Battleground, wasn't it?
How do you know?
What? Because I do. It was Battleground, so it was July 2016, and I don't know the exact date, but I really think that I should get a point for knowing that.
What month in?
No. It was in September.
September 2016.
Yes.
If it said
The
September
12th
2016.
of September.
But it was Battleground.
No, at Battleground it was the Triple Threat Shield match.
Oh, silly me.
Is it 0-0?
Yeah, and 3.
We need to have a word about this. We need to have a word about these questions, Jake.
What was the name of the WWE's February pay-per-view? Was it A, Backlash, B, Judgment Day, or C, Armageddon?
Backlash.
Correct.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember from back in the day, Mankind and Big Show in the Boiler Room Brawl, and it was February.
And 4.
Name 4 matches at NXT TakeOver.
Ever?
Yeah.
Ever?
No, the next one.
Oh, the next one. Asuka versus.
You guys did first.
We did not. I was already answering.
Right. 5, 4, 3, go!
You just answer them.
What?
You just answer them.
Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Roode for the championship.
That's 1.
Tag team championships, Sanity versus AOP.
That's 2.
There's Amber Moon versus Asuka.
That's 3.
And there's shit. I know another one as well, and I forgot.
If you don't get this, you're a fool. Because I talked about them 2 seconds ago.
You talked about them.
Yeah.
Who?
There was a match made at TakeOver. Made for TakeOver. Can I answer that?
Oni Lorcan and no, I forgot.
So do I have to say the 3 that he's already said, or can I just say the 4th one?
Say the 3 that you've already said.
So it's-
I think that you're cheating.
So it's Drew and Bobby Roode.
Mm-hmm.
It's Sanity and AOP. It's Asuka and Moon. And it's Hideo Itami, Aleister Black.
Oh.
Do you want to know the 5th
That's
one?
a silly match though,
The
because I
5th
think.
match.
Yeah.
Do you not think
I do,
Hideo
but-
Itami should have fought thingy? Oh no,
Cassie's Ono.
because they've been having like a feud.
Yeah, unless he's
Now
injured.
Black's had nothing to do with it. He's been fighting loads of Ring of Honor people.
I've no idea.
Do you want to
I know the 5th match is Gargano CN.
Yep.
Well, poo to you.
Because I also talked about that match being made as well.
5.
Mark's already won this, but do you want to just do the 5th one for fun?
Yeah, for funsies.
What was the outcome of Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant in WrestleMania 4? Was it A, time limit, or B? Was it A, time limit draw, or B, double disqualification?
Time limit draw? Time limit draw?
Hogan wins. Hogan always wins.
That was WrestleMania.
But you've got, but is it A, 10-minute draw, or B, double disqualification?
Neither.
Well, no, because...
Oh, it was a disqualification then?
Yeah.
No, I'll get a point for that.
A 2-1.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. You said 10 minutes.
But then I said the other one.
Nah,
He dilly-dally for too long.
You get 1 go when you hire.
I didn't yet.
But he still wins, so can I just have the point?
No.
Okay.
3-1.
3-1. So that's me. So if anyone has any ideas about what we should do to end this
feud,
contact us.
Then can somebody else do the quiz?
Somebody should get a stupid nickname or something.
What?
Somebody should get a stupid nickname or something for the rest
Like
of the...
penis face.
Poo head.
Twat cheeks.
What's next?
So the next is Jake's WrestleThoughts.
Got any thoughts, man?
Oh. Wait, I'm just going to do a theme.
Just gonna wiggle me boot around so it's noisy.
I thought I had WrestleQuiz.
Hold on.
WrestleFriends in there.
Hold on. Just a minute. I'm thinking.
WrestleThoughts.
That was kind of the same as the last one, but like less.
Similar theme.
You didn't let us finish.
Similar theme.
WrestleThoughts. WrestleThoughts.
Your themes kind of make me feel a little bit uncomfortable.
You make me feel...
What's your thoughts? Come on then.
Baron Corbin has a new theme.
Cool. Do you like it? I like his old one.
Yeah, I don't think they needed to mess with it.
I think they're doing this because he's going to be champion soon.
It's to like separate him from his old persona.
Uh-huh.
Can you do an impression of his new theme?
Not really.
Don't play it.
Not really.
No? Okay. Good thought. Next.
Apart from the beginning.
Do you like it?
Oh, yeah.
Is it like metal or like...
No.
Yeah, he's a bit of a metal kind of guy, isn't he, with his metal tats and stuff.
I think it's a good idea, this kind of new main event title push, like starting with a new theme song and kind of...
I think he's going to be a monster heel of the future. I hope they do it properly.
Do I've noticed about Baron Corbin?
That he's baldy on the top.
Yeah, he's got like long hair, bald head.
He's got Hulk Hogan hair. I think pretty soon he's going to have to do the shave job.
Shaved head. You look cool with the shaved head actually.
Yeah. You got any more thoughts on that?
On what? The Baron Corbin new theme?
Yeah, or just Baron Corbin in general?
Not really.
No, okay, cool. Any more thoughts?
Ambrose and Rollins teaming up?
Yeah? What do you think about that?
Nah, I don't really know.
Not getting you excited for a Shield reunion?
It's not really a Shield reunion without Roman though, is it?
Well, not really, but part of. We discussed this last week, but you weren't here.
I think it's exciting.
Do you think it's exciting? I think it's going to just lead to Ambrose turning on him.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
This is where this is heading.
Heel Ambrose fixes all Ambrose problems.
But like we said last week, and I don't want to go into too much because we talked about this last week, I think they will have a tag team championship run first. And then they'll turn on each other. Any more?
Any more?
Any more thoughts? Any more thoughts?
Well, you took mine earlier with the botch in Shinsuke Nakamura versus John Cena.
What did you think about that? Dangerous game, this wrestling, isn't it?
Yeah.
How do you think you would feel if someone dropped you on your neck? Would you get up and say, don't feel bad, like John Cena did?
You'd be cooler with it if it was you were a wrestler, not just like if Jake was at school.
Well, and got dropped on his head.
He'd be like, what you doing? But like if you're a wrestler,
I'd probably get called to school if you got.
If we dropped each other on our heads at work, we'd definitely get in trouble.
Especially as soon as we're meant to be role models. Any more thoughts on that?
No, not really.
No? Your thoughts are deep this week?
You put a lot of effort into them thoughts, Jake.
Is that it?
The Fashion Files.
Oh, classic. Every week I just feel like they're getting better and better.
Yeah.
They're hilarious. I hope that they start wrestling again soon and they don't just become backstage.
That was
comedy guys.
That was what I was thinking. Like they haven't had a match for weeks.
Nah, I would like them to have an actual match with some.
I would like it to end up with a tag title
Yeah.
And like a feud with the New Day.
Yeah. And maybe it's like that two comedy teams together.
Their own talk skit, like in the ring, maybe.
What, like the fashion something or other.
They would have to come up with a funny name and like a good name, but it's like, Dango, who we got on this week?
I liked it when they done the X-Files bit. That was funny. I also like the way that the Ascension are always hanging around. I think that's really funny.
Gives the Ascension something to do.
Yeah, because they're not really up to much either, are they?
They've actually been fighting the Ascension since episode 1, because I remember my poem about Praise Dango and how I said that they deserve better instead of fighting the Ascension.
Now they've brought Ascension up to their levels of hilarity.
It is funny. Is that the end of your thoughts?
Oh.
After you finish your thoughts.
I had one more words get out of my head.
Bye bye WrestleThought.
Mark Jago's t-shirt watch.
Oh.
They've released the Titus Worldwide t-shirt.
No way, have they?
Mm-hmm.
Wowzers. Are you going to be getting that one?
I'm a bit cash strapped at the minute. I think it would be a bit frivolous.
It's getting a girly member as well, isn't it?
Yeah, Dana.
Yeah.
It's like a nice little group, isn't it?
I
Like
love it.
Akira, Dana, Titus and Apollo.
Yeah, I think it's great. Yeah, I think
It's come back.
Oh.
They had a press conference this week.
And then was that Dana?
Where Dana walked in.
Yeah.
Welcome back, WrestleThoughts. Scott Dawson is injured.
Again? Oh no, is it Dash
No,
Wilder
yeah.
first time?
Yeah, Scott Dawson. Yeah, he is. He's injured. That's why they weren't on Raw.
They've not had much luck, the Revival, since they've been called up. They were consistently on every NXT show, not just wrestling on it, but like killing themselves in like 20-minute like brawls, and they've been called up and they're having the worst luck in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they did too much physically in NXT, like in those crazy like ladder matches and whatnot.
I don't know where that leaves the Hardy Brothers neither, because the
Hardy Brothers?
Hardy Brothers.
We've only been watching them for 20 years.
I'm tired. Hardy boys. Your brothers anyway.
The Hardy Brothers.
The Hardy Bros.
Maybe you can be friends with the Ely Brothers.
I think it's because
And the Matt Rowe Brothers.
We've talked about the Ely Brothers so much that now I just like everyone's brothers if I were a tag team. It's the Fashion Brothers.
I can't wait for the next NXT where the Ely Brothers are on. What were you saying about the Hardy Brothers?
The Hardy Brothers, are they broken or are they they're woken, aren't they?
The Awoken.
The awoken Hardys, not having that.
Nah, it's recreating something that's been done elsewhere.
Yeah.
Either do it broken or don't do it at all.
Yeah.
Or
they're allowed to do it though.
make Matt a road agent and have Jeff have a run.
Yeah.
Make Matt a stop, no man.
Do you reckon he would be a good stop? You'd push him over.
He'd waddle in with his dodgy hips.
Stop!
Broken stop,
Stop, no.
Don't do it. Delete. This is wonderful.
I'll obliterate you. Ah!
Stop.
Right. Did we take that too far?
No.
No. What's next on the agenda?
Wrestle poems.
Oh no. Who's going first?
Can I theme?
You can do it.
Wrestle poems in your face. Ba-ba-da-bam-ba-down.
Oh, about to go wow. I feel like Jake had more. I don't like doing the themes.
Why not? Why not?
I feel like I'm gonna think on.
Is that the fridge?
That's the fridge. You
Fridge.
should shut that door.
Fridge on, guys.
Can we talk about our little setup before we go on to Wrestle Poems today? I'm gonna put a picture
We've
of
got
it
the
on my Facebook page.
worst setup ever.
It's a table with a M&M blanket on, propped up by Diary of a Wimpy Kid books, with mixer on the floor and other various shit surrounding it.
It's full on ghetto. Crime Time would approve. That's not racist.
Who's going first then?
I can go first.
Well then.
So my poem is to do with what we were going to talk about this week, but we haven't talked about it. We're going to talk about it next week, which is our first memories of wrestling.
We're going to be talking about that for the past 3 weeks, and something else always comes up, doesn't it?
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
So, yeah, it's about my first memories of wrestling. It's called An Obsession Begins. Having Sky installed in '93 meant I could watch WrestleMania 9 with glee. 8 years old, just a small child. Doink vs Crush was pretty wild. Trips to Shields Market to buy figures and tapes. Papa Shango's spring-loaded punch and WCW, my wrestling landscape. The anticipation lying in bed as my dad recorded the pay-per-view. Winners of the matches, I didn't know who. I pile drove my brother on a cardboard box, which put our friendship on the rocks. I had to give him my Andre the Giant figure so he didn't tell my mum.
Oh, that's a sad story. I don't know what to say.
I don't know.
That was like a beautiful trip down memory lane. It was nice.
Enjoyed it.
I never got Sky Sports, me, so I couldn't watch it.
I remember I was 93. So during the day I was watching Bucky O'Hare, and like my dad was like, "Should I record the wrestling tonight?" And I was like, "Yeah, I kind of like heard of wrestling." And like, that
so does your dad like wrestling as well?
He does, yeah.
Does
Not
he?
as much as me, but he while he's listening to music, he has it on the background.
Mock me for watching wrestling and say it was men in underpants.
I would say me and my dad, we kind of bonded over wrestling over the years.
Really?
But yeah, 8 years old, so that's how long I've been. I'm now 32.
Wow. We didn't have Sky, so I was a late bloomer with the wrestling. I knew about it, but we'll talk about it another
Next
time.
week, yeah. This is for next week. But yeah, I just had to use the poem because I didn't have another one. Hit me back.
I want David to do his first.
You want me to do mine? I'd rather you did yours because I didn't finish mine last night and I feel like I need to give it a look over before I do it. So
Okay. Mine kind of sucks.
Is that what it's called?
No. It's called What Should I Do?
I don't know.
I don't know whether to laugh, whether to cry, or just to do, or not to do anything. But it's kind of hard with The Miz, but not so much with Bo Dallas or Curtis Axel. I just have no feelings for this. The only way to make this work is the bar club. I guess that's it.
I like that. It is short and abstract is how I would describe it.
I love your poems, they're so good.
I only kind of figured out what you were talking about like halfway through. Enjoyed it.
So that you think the Bullet Club's the only answer to the Miz Taraj?
They'd have to shell out a couple of million to get them all.
I think...
No, I said bar club, not.
Oh, Balor Club.
I think what we may have is maybe he's not the only answer, because if we'll get more Dream Shield reunion, maybe that's the only answer.
I would like to see Gallows, Anderson and Finn versus
I'd like to see
Mr.
Gallows
Rush.
and Anderson be used properly.
Oh, you just bum them all over.
I just love to see them get used properly. They were on main event a couple of weeks ago. What? You know what I mean? From Japan to the main event.
No.
Do you want right. Mine's called Slipper Heat.
Excuse me?
Mine's called Slipper Heat.
Right.
Right. I wore his slippers upon my feet. I hear that he has some backstage heat.
Huh?
Now I'm left feeling like a fool because I bought the slippers of an utter tool. I used to wear them with such pride, but now, stuffed down the back of my sofa they hide. Realest guy in the room, you reckon? Slipper and man relationship wrecking. Now my feet get cold and mucky because your Miz-like attitude is really sucky. I hope this Christmas that I get some big cast slippers you effing get.
Was that about your certified G slippers?
That was about my certified G slippers and Enzo Amore and my feelings towards him being a tool.
Maybe they should go on eBay with my No Jose t-shirt.
They actually are stuffed down the back of the sofa. Yeah. Yeah.
Enjoyed it?
Did you like that one?
I see how it might have been quite difficult to bring together in your mind.
Yeah, it was hard. I still don't think I perfected it, but
No, it was nice.
it was alright on it.
Yep.
A nice selection of wrestle poems there.
Yeah.
If anyone's got any wrestle poems they'd like us to read out, they can contact us on the usual email. Not www, because that would not be an
The
email.
WrestleFriends Podcast at yahoo.com.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Jay.
WrestleFriends on
I'll
iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube.
Mhm.
Yeah.
YouTube's new.
YouTube's the new one. Also, Facebook's a good one. Instagram's not so great.
Twitter's
Twitter's
not so
a bit
great.
of a naffy one as well.
Maybe we'll start using them one day.
Maybe. Which is weird because Ken Shamrock was our first follower on that. We've just
Maybe I might try and rehabilitate
the Twitter.
the Twitter, like No Jose's career.
That's not going to happen then, is it?
No.
What's next?
Gonzalez Award?
Ooh, would you like to do your stupid theme for it without knocking the microphone over?
Gonzalez. Gonzalez.
Lovely.
Nice.
There's
Are the nominations in?
a lot.
What about
Tajiri, stop, no,
Tajiri?
no.
Stop, no,
well,
no.
not Tajiri. Stop, no.
Not Tajiri. He could be up there.
What about WWE's racism?
That could be up there. The Ely brothers are always a contender.
We've already had the Ely brothers. We can't put them in every week.
Could be my first 2-time Gonzalez Award winner. I think it's got to go to Japanese Stop No man Tajiri No.
Not Tajiri.
Not Tajiri, yeah.
Tajiri lookalike.
Yeah.
Who was Stop.
We need to come up with a name for him. I think it needs to be
Flajiri.
Nojiri.
Nojiri. So Nojiri, who is not Tajiri and who split up Aleister Black and Hideo Itami, and also was part of Bobby Roode's security detail.
He's getting around.
You are in the Gonzalez Hall of
Pain.
Crap.
Turd.
Right, so Nojiri,
you're in there.
You're in.
Is that it?
That's it.
We've already done our social media and email things.
To death.
Do you want us to do it again or not? Nah, I don't. I feel like we've done it. I feel like we're done.
We're very findable.
I hope everyone enjoyed it today. I feel like
we've
covered a lot of ground.
Do you know if you Google the WrestleFriends podcast, where the first 7
I would like
things.
I would like someone to start a Wikipedia up about us.
It would just be the Ely brothers and Japanese people and heavy machinery.
Slightly racist.
And like Gallows and Anderson.
Yeah, do you know? Right, okay. We'll talk about it
and
next
Jake's
week.
mental poems.
Yeah. Thanks for listening anyway, so bye.
Thanks, we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
We love you all, Wrestle Friends.
Bye.
Be my Wrestle Friend. Be my Wrestle Friend. Be my Wrestle Friend. Be my Wrestle Friend.